Welcome to our live today. And I see live free 123. Hi. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you. And we're just going to wait, give a few minutes for more people to join because sometimes YouTube takes a few minutes to let everyone know that we are connected. So we're just going to wait a minute or two. How was your day? How are you doing today? My day was okay. A lot of work. I had to do a lot of work. Today was editing day, so I had to edit quite a lot of videos for the next few weeks. And that always, that's very tiring. Not physically tiring, but mentally tiring. It is. So that's what I did today. I did. I had a good day. I had a good day. I like to wake up early. I wake up at the same time every day, even when I don't work, even on weekends. Okay. So before we continue, there's something that I need to say because I don't know what's going on. Sometimes I get kicked out of the platform, and usually I have the option to come right back. But yesterday, for example, I got kicked out and I wasn't able to get back. I didn't get the link to be able to come back to the live. But I'm not sure why sometimes I just get kicked out. I'm still trying to figure it out. It seems like everything is working. It seems like my phone is okay, the internet connection is okay, the app is okay. So I'm not understanding why I get kicked out of the app sometimes. But and the thing is, it only does it during the lives. It only does it during the lives. So if we're talking and I get kicked out of the platform, I will come right back. I will come right back because usually I get the link to be able to come right back to our conversation. If after about a minute I am not back, it means that the app did not give me the link and I was not able to return. So please forgive me, but I will come right back if I get kicked out. Okay, so the conversation that we're going to have today, I really want to hear your opinion on the subject because it was very difficult for me to come up with some things. We're talking about what are some of the things that poor people know that rich people don't know. And I thought it was interesting. I thought about it because I was watching YouTube, and very often they have all these videos about things that rich people know that have made them rich. And to me, it's just kind of made me feel like, maybe for the rest of us, we are just out there living our lives like headless chickens, right? They have the head on their shoulders, they know everything, and we're just headless chickens, just lost. But the other day, I was thinking about it and wondering, is there something that those who are less privileged in life know that rich people don't know? Hello, Joe from Sydney, Australia. I've wanted to join the live for a few weeks, and it looks like I've managed it now, which is great. Well, you're welcome. Hello, welcome. Hi, Joe. Welcome to the chat. I'm glad you were able to join. That is so annoying. Hello. Okay. Today feels like it's gonna be one of those days where uh, I get interrupted a lot. This system just keeps kicking me out of the platform. I don't know why it's doing that. It just keeps kicking me out of the platform. But I will always come back, okay? I will always come back. If you wait a few seconds, I'll be right back. All right. So let's talk about it. What's something that poor people know that rich people don't? And I was thinking about it, and I was, I don't even know how to go about this, talking about this subject. Please help me out. If you can think about anything, um, let us know. Let us know in the chat. I think the person who is in a good position, in terms of, the way that we see money, I think the person who is in a good position is a person who has known both sides. It's someone who didn't come from much, but who has managed to obtain something. And when I think of rich, I don't necessarily mean like Elon Musk type of rich. When I think of rich, I also include people who have very good jobs, like I don't know, like a really smart scientist, or like a surgeon or a politician, this kind of thing. And I think the person who is in the right position is the person who has lived both sides and is able to see both sides. That's a person to me that would be quite balanced when it comes to, you know, what to know about money. I think rich people have not learned how to live on smaller amount of money and to be flexible to help with this and to feel confident about the situation. True, that is very true, Joanne. I have to agree with you as well. I have to agree with you as well. That when you grew up and you didn't have much and now you have, you know what it's like to not have much. But when you were born into it, especially when you were born into money, I do agree with what Joanne is saying, that then rich people don't know what it's like to live on a small amount of money. That person would not know, right? That person would not know. Or even the anxiety, yes, the anxiety of how am I going to end the month? Am I going to be able to pay rent next month? That anxiety, a person who was born in, a person who was born into money does not, has not learned that, has not learned that. The connection is very poor today. It's very poor today. That's frustrating. So I'm going to read a few things that I wrote down, right? I'm going to read a few ideas that I wrote down. One of the ideas that I wrote down here is running out of things changes everything. And I had some examples like running out of food or running out of gas in the middle of the month, running out of medication in the middle of the month. That anxiety, the anxiety that that kind of struggle brings, a person who, a rich person does not necessarily know what that kind of anxiety is. Not knowing if you're going to be able to afford your medication, right, at the end of the month. I hope it improves. Joanne says, yes, my connection is poor too. I hope it improves. Not sure if it's me as well as you. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with the connection, Joanne. So you are in Australia and I'm here in Houston, Texas. We seem to be having the same issue. So maybe it's the platform. Maybe it's the platform. Hello, Tammy from North Carolina. Hello, how are you? Welcome to the chat. Today we're talking about the things that rich people, that poor people know that rich people don't know. Is there anything that poor people know that rich people don't know? And Joanne was saying earlier that rich people have not learned to live on a smaller amount of money. And that is definitely true. And one of my ideas was that they don't know the kind of anxiety that a person feels when they're running out of things in the middle of the month, right? Running out of shampoo, running out of food, running out of gas, and you don't know how you're going to make it to work, running out of medication, and maybe it is expensive and you don't know when you're going to be able to refill your prescriptions, that type of anxiety is something that rich people probably don't know, right? And to me, I try to be specific here and talk specifically about people who were born into money, because I think that a person who has known both sides know what it's like to not have much, and also knows what it's like to live in abundance, right? And at the same time, a person who has only lived in that side where we don't have much, well, then that person does not know what it's like, necessarily know what it's like to have. But I would like to hear from you guys. What do you think? That's so true. Library Lizard says rich people don't know that you can be perfectly happy being poor. True. True, true. I do know a lot of people, and I'm going to put myself included into those people. I know I do not have much. I know I do not have much, but nobody can convince me that I am not happy, that I am not living a happy life. I have a very peaceful life. I have a very happy life. I feel very fortunate. I feel very fortunate. So I agree with you. Library Lizard, yes. Yes. When we have a lot, we might think, well, how am I ever going to be happy if I don't have that thing anymore? You can be happy. Yes, everybody can be happy with a lot less. In fact, I will even argue that having a lot is more stressful and can cause a lot more unhappiness. Being successful isn't about having a lot of money. It's living an abundant life in being kind, caring for others, being thankful for what you have. Little is much when God is in it. True. That is very true. That is very true. Hello, Frances from Stanford. Hi. Hello. Hello. I'm starting to recognize names. Hi. And yes, that is very true. Little is much when God is in it. That is very true. That is very true. That idea that we need all those things in order to be happy, it's something that's very prevalent today, I feel like. And I don't know, well, I think social media has a big part of it, you know. Social media has really made us feel like we need all those things, because now we are comparing ourselves with people who live hundreds of miles away from us, thousands of miles away from us, and it's now making us feel, more than ever, it's making us feel like we don't have enough, or we need to have more, right? We need to have more. But little is much when God is in it. I do believe that as well. I do believe that as well. It's not just about money. It's also being kind, and it's also being caring, and it's also being thankful for what we have. All those things, other things that make us happy. Joanne says another thing is that there is an appreciation for living with a light footprint that perhaps one develops after being in a situation that calls for this. Yes, that's also very true. That's also very true. Hi, Tammy. Welcome. Welcome. And I was thinking also, one of the things I was thinking about is the community. And the note that I put it down here is community is wealth. Community is wealth. When I was younger, I knew of a person, I knew of a man who had quite a lot of money in the neighborhood that I lived in. He had quite a lot of money. And my opinion of him, just from, he was a close person, he was a close friend to the family. And my opinion of him was that he seemed to rely on his money a lot, and not so much on the community. I always felt that he thought he could fix any problem that he had with his money. And and I kind of thought that was sad. I kind of thought that was sad, because I thought that having my family around me who was there to help me, having my friends who were there to help me, and even today, like, I feel like having a community who's there to help is a measure of wealth. It is a measure of wealth. Instead, a person who was born in wealth might think if I throw money at it, it's going to go away. If I throw money at it, it's going to get fixed. Now, I might be wrong. And if I am wrong and you're watching this and thinking, well, I have money and I don't think that way, let me know, let us know. But that's something that it's this impression that I got from knowing him and from also knowing other people in the medical field who have jobs where they earn a lot and they feel like I'm just going to throw money at this. But having a community to, to provide childcare, to provide rides, or just to go and knock on the door and say, hey, I need some sugar. Do you have some sugar I can borrow? That to me is something that poor people understand that rich people don't necessarily understand. Hello, everyone. Hello. So, what about you guys? Hello, Kelly. Hello, Kelly. You're welcome. Welcome to the live. I'm glad you're here. And we've got today so many people who are saying, I'm so glad I'm finally catching a live. I've been trying. Now I'm a little bit stressed. I'm like, oh my goodness. Now I've got to make it worth, you guys being here. Sometimes I feel like I'm just talking to myself. It's like, okay, I'm just talking to myself. It's fine. They can watch it later. When they can, they'll just watch it later. But now that you guys are here, oh my God, oh my goodness, I have to make it worthwhile for them. But before we continue, I want to say something, guys, is that I don't know what's going on with the connection, but sometimes I get kicked out of the platform. I don't know why. I don't know why. It doesn't seem to be from the little research that I've done. It's not my phone. It's not my connection. YouTube said it's not their platform. So I don't know why I get kicked out. Okay. If that happens, I will come right back. I will come right back. Now, yesterday I got kicked out of the platform, but YouTube didn't give me the link to be able to reconnect. So if I get kicked out and after about a minute I'm not back, that's because I didn't get the link. Okay, that's because I didn't get the link, but I will always come right back if that happens. It has already happened tonight 3 times. It has already happened 3 times. Okay, now things that poor people know that rich people don't know. That's what we're talking about today. Because at least for me, every time I am on YouTube a lot. Like I consume YouTube a lot. It is my form of entertainment. Some people have Netflix. I have YouTube, right? But I watch the videos on YouTube and it's always about what rich people know. What rich people know that they can teach the world. And how many people are really like rich in this world? I don't know. It's like 2%, 3%. I mean, most of us are what we call middle class, even though now we can argue also that the middle class is disappearing. But most of us in the world are considered middle class. And it seems like most of us in the world, if you focus on what social media says, most of us in the world, we just don't know, right? We just don't know. There are things that rich people somehow know. They've got all the knowledge, especially when it comes to money. So the question tonight, I kind of wanted to flip that around. Not what do rich people know that we don't know, but what do we know, us, the 95%, what do we know that they don't know? Tammy says, I remember when we were growing up that we would go to the neighbors to borrow sugar, etc., and they would do the same. So much love was there between everyone. Exactly, exactly. And that community, a person who has quite a lot of money might not always have, all right? Might not always have. Generously is so much more than money. Okay. Community shows that, yes, yes. And generosity. And for me, I feel like community is one of the biggest assets that I have. My community is one of the biggest assets that I have. I do feel like without them, I would not move forward. 100%. 100%. I can't say I don't have much, but I have a good life. I like my life. I'm very content with what I have, even though not much. I'm very content. But I feel like a lot of my happiness and my contentment is that word. That comes from my community. I have wonderful friends who are always there to help me. And at church, I have wonderful friends who are always there to help me. I have a great family who's always there for me. And that is my biggest wealth. Poor people know that there's almost always a way to take care of a problem for free or nearly free. True. Yes, yes, exactly. There's almost always a way. There's almost always a free way or a nearly free way to take care of things, right? Throwing it away and buying new is not the answer all the time, right? It's not the only answer. It's not the only answer. We are resourceful for sure. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And I'm so happy with the community here on YouTube because that is a new community that I'm not part of, and I'm very thankful for that community, for you guys here on YouTube, because in a short amount of time, it's been what, about a month since I created this channel, but so many people have shared their experience and their advice and recipes and just different things, how they manage different things around money and their paycheck and the food and bills, that I have learned so much. I have learned so much. So now I have this community here. Welcome. If you haven't joined yet, please do join. Subscribe and welcome. And you're welcome. Every time you watch a video of mine, if you're going to watch the replay of this live, check the comment section. Check the comment section because it's always great. There's always a lot of resource. And yes, poor people are very resourceful. Poor people are very resourceful, right? And we know how to how to fix things, how to solve problems. I'm very resourceful, even though I don't have a lot. Yes, Frances, I do agree. And we have to become more imaginative, right? We have to become more imaginative, more, resourceful and imaginative in terms of how we're going to solve the issue. How we're going to solve the issue, because we can't throw money at it. We can't throw money at it. Even if we have the money, it's already assigned for something else, right? It's there for something else. It's not there for the issue that we have at the present. So we kind of have to think constantly outside of the box. Like, how can I get this fixed? And if I can't fix it myself, like, who can fix it for me for free or for nearly free? Who can extend the life of this thing, or who can fix it for me? Creative, that is the word that I was looking for. Thank you. Thank you, Lee. That is the word I was looking for. I was looking for the word creative. Thank you. We know how to be a lot more creative and think outside the box and fix things. We're also more skillful at this lifestyle too. We are more skillful. Yes. My mother, when I was growing up, at some point, there were 18 of us in the house, 2 adults and 16 children of various ages. I think at the time, the youngest one may have been like 4 or 5. And the oldest one was maybe 23. And all these people were living in the house. And my parents were taking care of all of us. My mom could make a buck really stretch. My mom could feed 18 people with very, very, very little. I don't know, now that I'm an adult and I'm a woman, I don't know how she did it. I don't know. I don't know how she did it without pulling her hair or, crying herself to sleep at night. I don't know how she did it, but she did. No one died. We all lived through it. For us children, for me, it was fun. It was fun because there were so many people in the house to play with. So many people in the house to play with. So for me, it was fun. But I think for my parents, it must have been difficult. She sounds like an amazing woman. Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell her that you say that. I will tell her, Liv, that you say that. I will tell her you say she's gonna be happy. But she's happily kind of retired now. Now she only has one person to take care of, and it's a 4-year-old, and she's a handful. She's a handful, but she's very happy with she's very happy with her. Yes. Okay. So definitely, I think there are quite a lot of things that people who don't have much can teach, right? There's quite a lot of things that people who have a lot can learn from those who don't have much, from those who don't have much. And even sometimes I have a friend who always says, they're talking about the economy and how hard the economy is, and she says, but it's always been hard for me. I don't see the difference. Right? I don't see the difference. She says, I don't see the difference. It's always been hard for me. We know how to live through things and be okay. We know how to live through things, especially the economy and financial changes. We know how to live through it and be okay. I honestly didn't know my family was poor when I was a kid. I didn't feel poor, but I can see now we were. Yes, that's library lizard. Definitely, yes, yeah. I I agree. I agree. To this day, I still don't know if I still don't know if growing up, yeah, I definitely agree with you. I mean, yeah, for sure, for sure. I always had food. I went to school. I always had furniture, like how do you call it in English? My parents always bought new books and things at the beginning of the school year. We always had a new pair of shoes at the beginning of the school year. Granted, it was only one, but we always did. I never went to bed hungry, and my hair was always nicely done. And whenever we had a birthday or Christmas, everybody always had a gift. For birthdays, my mom always baked a cake, but we always had a cake. It wasn't a fancy one, but it was always good. So as a child, just like Library Lizard is saying, as a child, I didn't think we were poor, and I don't know if we were. I don't know if we were. To my knowledge, we were not. To my knowledge, we were not. We were not. We always had everything. I thought we were rich. Yes, Tammy. Exactly. Yes. And I don't know at what point in our lives do we start thinking of ourselves poor. Because when we're kids, we don't, right? I think most children don't. I yeah, I don't think I'm just going to talk about my experience being a child. Like, I did not compare myself to other people. I had a gift, and my friend had a gift at Christmas. It didn't matter to me if my doll was of a cheaper material than her doll. Like, I didn't think about that. That didn't cross my mind. I just knew I had a doll and she had a doll and everybody had a doll. And even if I didn't have a doll, well, I had a cake. That's part of the reason also why I didn't think like, are we poor? We are poor. Like, no. But at some point, and I can't really pinpoint when, maybe in college, was it in college that I started thinking, I don't have much. I don't have much. And I don't know when that changed. Maybe in college. Joanne says, my family did not have lots of money, even though I did not feel poor either. We were not that poor, but it was much more limited on today's standards. Yes, yes, definitely. Yeah. Today's standards are, to me, just absolutely just way too high. It's outrageously just high, and it's crazy. I can't pinpoint when either. Yeah. Yeah. Today's standards are honestly not realistic at all. For most of us, I mean, and sometimes I even feel like the people who set those standards are not even there themselves, because I can't tell who online is lying. I don't know those people. I cannot tell who online is lying, who online is faking the life that they're portraying, but they are, and they're setting standards that are not real, that are not achievable, not even to themselves, right? Today's standards are just at another level. I knew we were poor, but still, we were always happy and never missed a meal. Yeah, always happy and never missed a meal. And I think now being an adult, and I don't have a child. I have taken care of a lot of children, but I don't have a child of my own. I have a lot of nephews and nieces, and I see my friends and their family. And I do also, I do believe that as long as the family is happy, as long as the kids are happy and everybody feels safe, even if there is $50 in the bank, even if there is $50 in the bank, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Because I know people who are very close to me who have millions of dollars in their bank accounts and they're not happy. And they're not happy, right? Tammy says, God just blessed us because my mother was on disability, but she still gave out to the community, and we never wanted anything. Yep, definitely, definitely. So I think there are quite a lot of things that rich people can learn from poor people. And I wish there would be more videos about that subject on social media as well. That it's not just the rich who can teach us a thing or two. Like we know a thing or two that we can teach. So Joanne says life is so different now to then, which was in the 60s, because I'm over 70 now. Many families only had working parents, and compared to now, one working parents. Yeah, yeah. My mother did not work outside. She was a housewife, and 18 people were fed, only with my father's paycheck. Yeah, life is very different now. Life is very different now, and it's crazy that even with two paychecks, we are struggling. Many people are struggling even with two paychecks. Last year, I had three jobs. Last year, I had three jobs. I had three jobs last year. And that's because I was trying to, I wanted to go home. I had not gone home in over 5 years. I had not seen my parents and my family in over 5 years. And I just really wanted to go home. And I said, you know what? You're going to work overtime, you're going to work extra hours, and you're going to save money because the ticket is expensive. Yeah. If you find something that's affordable, it's about $2,200 just the ticket, and $2,200 is for that. You know that seat on the plane that's in the back by the toilet, and it's the most horrible seat on the plane. That is the seat that costs $2,200, and I wanted to go home. I was so desperate to go home and see my family, and so I took on extra work in order to be able to pay for the trip and in order to be able to go home for a few weeks and still be able to pay the bills here, even though I was over there, even though I was over there. And so I had to work a little bit more. And you have people who are, who have hustles and side hustles, and they have several jobs, and they still can't make ends meet. They still can't make ends meet. And then you have families with multiple incomes, and they still can't make ends meet, right? I only had one working parent. Yes, Kelly. Kelly also only had one working parent. Yes, I would like to know how many of us here only had one working parent. If you only had one working parent, let us know. I only had one. Yeah, I only had one. Kelly only had one. Joanne only had one working parent. And I don't know if that's the standard today. Lizard, yes, library lizard says me, only one, right? Live free. I only have one, yeah, right? Most of us, I feel like most of us connected right now only had one working parent, and we were fine. And we were fine, right? Joanne, also my parents grew up in the Great Depression. and during World War II. So they knew a challenging financial life for all their younger years. Yes, they did. They did. They definitely did. They did. My parents, both my mom and my dad, they lost their fathers very early on. Early on. I think my mom really didn't know her dad a lot. I think by the time she was 7, he had passed away. By the time she was 7, he had passed away. My father had his dad a little bit longer. My father had his dad until he was a teenager, probably 17, 18. And then he passed away also, medical error, actually. That's what took his life. Um, but so they didn't, my father, I'm talking specifically here about my father. After his father passed away, he was the oldest one in the family. And so after his father passed away, he took on the responsibility of working and feeding his younger brothers and sisters. So he started working and had quite a lot of people to feed because his own father had like 14 children. His own father had a lot of kids. So now he was like the oldest one and he had 13 mouths to feed. And then he had his own children, very young as well. And he also ended up having quite a lot of children. He has worked a lot. Worked a lot. My dad was a doctor, but we weren't rich. He was a county doctor, delivered many babies for free for poor families. Yep. That's why some people say sometimes, they tell me, but you're a nurse. How come you don't have, how come you say you have a lot of money? Well, I am a community nurse, right? Like your dad. I am a community nurse. And we do a lot of work for free. A lot. Question. So what would you consider nowadays as being poor? Would it be mental, physical, or something else? That's a good question. So Tammy says, that's for everyone. What would you consider nowadays as being poor? Would it be mental, physical, or something else? Hello, Bohemian Dollhouse. Hello, I really enjoy your YouTube channel and I have told others to thank you. Is that Teresa? Thank you, Teresa. So, what is considered poor nowadays? If you look at social media, I'm going to say anybody who does not have an expensive car and anybody who does not wake up at 4:30 in the morning and has like the most optimized morning routine. The most optimized morning routine. Anybody who does not have 7 side hustles is considered poor these days, according to social media. I do not agree. I absolutely do not agree. But I do think that I'm gonna talk about it from like living in America. Living in America. Well, maybe not just being poor to me. I think it starts with a state of mind. I think it starts with a state of mind. If you think yourself poor and you tell yourself you are, then you are. Then you are 100%. 100%. If you have $10 million in your bank account and you think yourself poor because your neighbor has 100 million, then you're poor. You're poor 100%. So I think it starts first with a state of mind. And my state of mind, the one that I try to cultivate for myself, is that I am not poor. I have everything that I need. Is it in excess? No. But I always have enough. I always have enough. I don't have a big TV, I have a TV. I don't have a super fancy apartment, but I have a home. You know, I don't have a fancy car, but I have a car, and it's a working car. So I do really believe that it starts with a state of mind. It does. And then it can extend to other things. It can extend to how much do you actually have in your bank account? How much do you actually have in your bank account? And if you have to, which is unfortunate, but thankfully they are there, if you have to rely on like you know those places where you can go and get some food, well, then there is a level of not having much, right? When we get to that situation, there's a level of not having much. If you're living in your car because you can't afford another place to live, then you definitely have, I would say, have less than many people. But if you're with the right state of mind, again, the state of mind, with the right state of mind, you will be able to see that you have something that other people don't have. That in many ways, your situation is better than other people, right? It's kind of like I'm thinking about that Whitney Houston song. What song is that? But there's a song where she says that, even if I live under a bridge, I'm happy that I was there with you. It's not, the lyrics are not quite like that, but that's the idea of that song from Whitney Houston, right? So we would think then that a person who lives under a bridge is a poor person, but she says, I'll be happy that I was just there with you. So again, the state of mind, even if you live in the car, maybe bank account wise you are poor, but if you're in the car with the person that you love, if you're in the car with your children and you're safe and you're just happy that they're healthy, then you're not that poor. No. No, you're not, because there are people who live in bigger homes and they don't have the connection that your family has. And that is a measure of wealth as well. I don't know if I answered your question, Tammy. I don't know. And I'm going to let other people, when they join the live, I'm going to let them also put their answers in the comment section. Please put your answers in the comment section. I'll be very interested to know as well. What would you consider nowadays as being poor? Definitely not what social media is saying. That's not a standard to live by. That is not a standard to live by. Okay, so it is the end of our live today. Thank you so much, guys, for coming, and thank you for participating. Your comments were very, very insightful. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. I hope you're going to have a good evening or a good day. The people from Australia, is it morning time in Australia or is it super late? I don't know. I don't know. Here in Houston, Texas, it is 7:44 p.m. So it's dinner time for me. It's dinner time for me. Some people live in their cars by making a conscious decision and they don't feel poor. Yes, definitely. Bohemian Dollhouse. I agree. I agree. And they don't feel poor at all. Right. If that's what you want, if you're happy, yeah, you're not poor. You're not poor. So it's 10:45 a.m. Have a great day. Everyone from Australia, have a great day. 8:44 in Michigan. Have a good evening, everyone. Have a good evening. Thank you so much for coming. Tomorrow we'll be here again at 7 p.m. with another subject of conversation. If you can join, please do join. If you cannot join, it will be posted so you can rewatch and you can still participate because I read all the comments. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Okay? Thank you for coming, everyone. Bye.